We're going to get right to it at 4. We are following two breaking stories right now at 4 o'clock. First, a large fire at an apartment building in Denver. And in Douglas County, more than half a dozen homes were evacuated after a crash that then led to a dangerous gas leak. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Phil Lipoff.
I'm Kim Christensen. It's been really a busy day for first responders. We want to get straight out to Jaleesa Rosari. She's near Hamden and Yosemite, where that building caught fire this afternoon. Jaleesa, how's it going out there?
Yeah, Kim, we're on Hamden in South Willow Street to be exact, where Denver Fire is battling a 2-alarm fire. And this building right behind us was actually still on fire when we arrived about an hour ago. We saw flames shooting off from both sides of the building. You can actually see some fire crews on one of the balconies. Looks like they're putting out some hot spots. We also saw a chainsaw being used, but Denver Fire says the bulk of this fire has been knocked down. But when they arrived, it was very heavy and throughout the building. We saw multiple fire trucks, police cars, paramedics, as well as an XL Energy truck. Now you can also see a power line leaning pretty heavily in this area. It looks like part of it is touching the roof, but it's unclear if it had anything to do with the fire. We do know people in this area got a voluntary evacuation notice about an hour ago. We actually received it ourselves. We were able to catch up with a neighbor who actually spotted the fire early on and called 911. This is what they had to say.
And I was like, hey, does anybody know what, address this is? And one of the guys yelled out, and I was like, get the heck out. This whole thing is on fire. If you can go door to door, just start getting people out, please. And so, yeah, and then this one girl came out. She was obviously in shock.
And now we want to show you something right here. XL Energy is on scene, and it looks like they are trying to do something with this power line right here that, like I mentioned, was leaning fairly heavily on the building. We're unsure if this did cause a fire. We don't know that. Denver Fire is still investigating the cause of this, but clearly they are working on this and trying to make sure that it is safe and secure and that people can get back to their homes. Now, Denver Fire says one person was injured and transported to the hospital. It's unclear how severe those injuries are. We do know that there is a traffic impact from this fire. Hamden Avenue is closed from Yosemite to Vivena. So if you plan to go this area, please avoid it if you can. For now, reporting live in Denver, Jaleesa Rosari, 9 News.
And it's a time of day, Jaleesa, where there's probably a lot of people that aren't home and are just hearing about this kind of thing. And then there are those, they're the neighbors, they're saying, what's happening? There are those that don't know and they're not there.
Yeah, exactly. I spoke to a tenant that was actually sleeping while this fire started. She said she heard the commotion outside. She heard people screaming, came out, saw the flames shooting from the building. She said she's really lucky she heard that sound and was able to get out safely. But you're right, some people are at work still, so they're going to come home to quite the surprise.
All right, Jaleesa, thanks so much.
Within the last hour, a shelter in place was lifted for a half mile of unincorporated Douglas County near Parker after someone ran off the road and hit a gas regulator station. That happened this afternoon at Chambers and Main Street near the Stepping Stone neighborhood. The sheriff's office says they evacuated 8 homes because the gas leak was so bad. XL Energy got the gas turned off, and now South Metro Fire says there's no safety concern for that neighborhood except that your home may not have gas.
In the beginning, the winds definitely shifted a couple different times, so that did cause some concern and also changed a little bit of how we mitigated this whole thing and the 911, the reverse 911 and where we kept the shelter in place. But once the wind started blowing out of the south to the north, we knew that stayed pretty steady at that time.
2 people were inside the car at the time of the crash. They were taken to the hospital. We're working to learn more about how they're doing.
A 16-year-old is in custody after Aurora police say brought a loaded gun to school. They say a security officer tackled that student. Happened about 8:40 this morning at Overland High School. Police say the teenager was trying to break up a fight between 2 other students, a girl and his girlfriend. Officers believe that's when he pulled a gun out of his waistband. Another student spotted it and yelled gun. Police say staff put the school on lockdown and moved quickly to keep students safe.
One of the school officials, one of the security officials, found the juvenile suspect who had the gun running through one of the halls. He then found that person running down from the hall down to the stairs, grabbed them, and tackled them to the ground.
Police tell us they did find a loaded .40 caliber gun on that 16-year-old, and a school resource officer was there within seconds to take him into custody. Authorities say no bullets were fired and no one was hurt.
Taking a live look outside where we're really close if we haven't hit a record already. Chief Meteorologist Kathy Saban is tracking the heat, plus a cool down. That's in the distant future. Kathy.
Yeah, and as Phil was asking, I mean, for dog walkers in the evening, Kim, we're actually tracking a couple of gusty thunderstorms with wind and lightning, and we know our dogs do not like that. So, and pet owners don't like it either. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about. We've got a fair amount of cloud cover, but lots of sunshine has pushed temperatures into the upper 80s. Haven't had confirmation of the record-tying 90. I think we're at 89 so far, but I will let you know when we got confirmation. Hazy, but still beautiful in Fort Collins, 89 outside the studios and in Rocky Ford, 75 in Gunnison, 78 in Steamboat. Underneath some of these gusty thunderstorms, we've had some pockets of extremely gusty winds. We're 10 to 15 degrees warmer than we were yesterday. And what we're seeing around Aurora and Buckley Air Force Base, that's a gusty thunderstorm, maybe even a microburst thunderstorm. So that's what that 51-mile-per-hour gust is all about and should be a short-lived event. We have moisture coming up underneath the ridge that with heating of the day is producing a couple of these high base storms. And when I say a couple, you can count them on one hand. Tracking from the south toward the north and northeast, there's a teeny one on Highway 85. There's one near Aurora and Buckley. Maybe a little wind and lightning. I do not think we're going to get that rain that we want, but maybe you'll luck out around Winter Park or Boulder and get a brief little shower there. So we're going to do this tonight, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. Temperatures in the 80s now, dropping 10 degrees by 11 o'clock. And your weather headlines include another check of the radar coming up. We've got a warm, dry weather pattern heading into a cooler weekend, guys. We've got a good chance for rain coming in on more than one day. I'll have those details ahead.
Kathy, thank you. A beautiful day for some playoff hockey. Any day is really. Less than 2 hours, the Avs will have a chance to knock out the Minnesota Wild once and for all in Game 5.
Everyone's feeling pretty good about this. We don't want to jinx anything, but we're feeling good. 9 News reporter Jennifer Meckles is live outside Ball Arena where things are getting going. Everybody's excited, and there's kind of a special treat for the fans who show up early.
Oh, yeah, Kim, this is the time the party starts before the game starts later. And there's all sorts of fun fan events happening. Oh, Bernie's just walking by in the background. But one of the fun things that's happening today is one of the partners out here, UC Health, big Avs fans, right? They're throwing a little party for lookalikes. They're looking for all Cale Makar lookalikes. I'm not sure this guy looks like Cale Makar, but that's okay. But look at all these Cales we have that showed up. Let me show you the real Cale, just for reference. I know you all know what Cale looks like. We've got real Cale. We've got young Cale. Your name is actually Cale.
Yes.
And you were one of the first guys here. And then we got all these other Cale Makars who are about to get judged and see who actually looks the most like Cale for real. And the winners get to go to the game tonight. They get tickets. And the very first guy in line trying to look like Cale tonight was actually my friend Tanner here. We met Tanner earlier. Tanner also kind of looks like somebody else at 9 News, right?
Yes, I do. Scotty Gaines.
Yes, you do. You look like Scotty Gaines. So what brought you out? Like, you big Avs fan, I know. But when you see your competition here, what do you think?
We got some tough lineup, but I'm feeling pretty confident.
Yeah.
And
How's the postseason been for you? What are you looking forward to about tonight? Game 5 could be the one that gets this series, yeah?
I think Makar could be the difference. Want to see him put one in the net, so I think that'll be the difference.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Can I get from the group maybe a go Avs before we get started here, right? 1, 2, 3.
Go Avs!
Very soon we're going to find out which one looks the most like Cale. Maybe actual Cale will show up. You know, that happens sometimes on these things. Probably not. But thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Good luck. May the best Cale win. Yeah? All right. Thank you. All right, guys. They're having all sorts of parties here outside of Ball Arena before puck drops tonight, and the fans are getting super stoked. So hopefully we finish this series tonight and we move on, right?
That's right. And they're ready. They're ready to go to the game if they win.
They're ready.
You know, that's a good prize.
Yes.
I'll tell you
Yes.
what.
Confident doesn't mean you're not superstitious to be confident. You can be confident, right?
You can be
We're going to be
quiet confidence.
Quiet confidence.
Jenny, we can't wait to find out who wins the contest. Thank you.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. And Bernie's back there, of course, as she said.